Well, it's that time again.
What time is that?
It's time to get naked.
Like all the way naked?
Well, keep your clothes on, but it's time for the Naked Party Time podcast, where we get real and raw about life, leadership, and love.
While having lots of fun along the way.
So what do you say? Are you ready to get naked?
Let's do it.
Well, you may have heard of fasting from food, but today we're going to talk about a spending fast, literally fasting from spending. Well, welcome back, or welcome for the very first time to the Naked Party Time podcast. My name is Jeff Manis, and I am your host, and I'm usually joined by my co-host, my wife, and my podcast queen, Sabrina, but she's not joining us on this episode because I'm just giving a brief little intro, and then we're going to replay episode 7 called Spending Fast Challenge. This is the third consecutive year that Sabrina and I have done a spending fast, and we're getting ready starting July 16th of this year, 2022, to embark on our third spending fast. We felt led to recalibrate, to refocus, and just to kind of get some new direction in our finances to save for some things in the future by doing this spending fast. We're starting July 16th. Our goal is to go through the end of the year. And in that replay of episode 7, we talk about how you do a spending fast, why you do one, and what it is. So even if you heard the episode before, I would highly encourage you to take a listen again or to watch it if you're watching on YouTube. I truly do believe that a spending fast like this, where you really refocus yourself financially on some priorities, has great benefit to our lives. I'm excited to listen again myself and excited for you to listen as well. So enjoy this replay of episode 7 of the Naked Party Time podcast. Welcome to the Naked Party Time podcast, where we get real and raw about life, leadership, and love.
While having lots of fun along the way.
So what do you say? Are you ready to get naked?
Let's do it.
Well, hey there, everyone. If you're joining us on YouTube or on the podcast app of your choice, welcome to the tribe known as the Naked Party Time podcast, where we like to get real and raw about life, leadership, and love. Today, we're going to share about one of the best financial disciplines we've ever done, called a spending fast. But don't let it scare you. It's not as hard as it sounds, and it is super, super productive and impactful. We're going to challenge also our listeners to join us on another spending fast as well. Before we dive into the what, why, and how of a spending fast, though, I need to let you know who we are. My name is Jeff Manis. My co-host, as always, is my wife, Sabrina. Anything to say today?
Yes, I want to say that...
I thought we might just sit here in silence.
No, I'm going to say something. That we're recording on date night again.
Yes, it is.
And we
went
went to
go?
Jimmy John's again.
We came home and our daughter said what? Jada said what?
She said, "Where'd you guys go?" I was like, "Jimmy John." She's like, "Again? You're the most boring couple I know."
We're not boring, just predictable, which some people would call boring.
Yeah.
But we actually sat down at Jimmy John's, talked through this podcast, and now here we are recording it, and we'll go watch some TV, which is also super boring here in a little bit. We actually are very excited about this and the next podcast we have coming your way. As I said, today is episode 7, and we're not only going to talk through the why, what, and how of a spending fast, which is really one of the best and most impactful things we've done financially and recently, but on the next podcast, which drops on October 12th, we're going to be interviewing our great friend, Joe Sengel. Joe is the founder and president of I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, and in my opinion, is the best teacher on the planet when it comes to winning with your money. We're going to talk with Joe about some of the best financial tips and tools he uses, but also he's going to drop some encouraging and inspiring words to anyone who will be joining Sabrina and I on the spending fast. If you know Joe, you'll know that he will be
fired up.
He will be fired up to teach us on winning with our money. We're super thankful that he's going to join us on the podcast, and I can't wait for what he's going to share. If you've never heard Joe before, please tune into that one. It's going to be amazing. He's incredible, and you'll be encouraged and inspired by listening to that. Before we do dive into our content for today, we did want to answer a listener question. This one was super relevant for what is happening culturally right now with the election coming up. You didn't really want to answer this question. You're like, should we answer this question?
No, it's very, I don't know. The feedback could not be good.
Yeah. In fact,
I don't like confrontation.
Well, you were pretty confrontational in your answer.
Well, I wouldn't actually say that to the person.
Just to me?
Yeah.
It was funny. I'm like, I'm not letting you answer this question if that's how you're going to answer it. You were pretty blunt, which you're a blunt person.
I am. But I have a filter sometimes.
Sometimes.
That I use sometimes.
This is why we pre-record the episode, so if I have to go back and edit it, I can. I'm not going to share the name on air because it is a sensitive question. They emailed it in. But they will be the Starbucks winner for this episode. So congratulations, you win $10 to Starbucks. And if you join us on the spending fast, you can actually use that because it's not your money.
Ooh, yeah, you can save it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yep. So they asked this question. Sabrina, why don't you read us the question?
My question is a little odd and almost embarrassing to even ask, but here we go. Politics is tearing my family apart to the point where family members are willing to not associate with other family members because they vote/believe something different than they do.
Wow.
Each day, more hate is shown towards each other over something so silly. My question is, how would you manage this issue being in the middle of it? It seems no matter what is said, it doesn't make a difference. It's overwhelming to say the least. Thanks in advance.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know.
So, first of all, to the person, I mean, I know who you are and you know who you are. And to anybody else unfortunately, this is
I know they're not
common.
the only family that's
common.
probably dealing with this right now, which is sad.
So if you are dealing with this, especially among family, it's so hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Like, it sucks to be stuck in the middle like that. But if I were to offer you advice, if we were sitting down for coffee and I was going to give you my advice on this situation, the best thing I think for you to do, this person who asked, is just to show love to both sides. I think that's where it begins. Like, if you're stuck in the middle, you just got to show love to both sides. It's sad that people are doing this, but it's not surprising. Yeah. It happens more often than you think. And when Christians do this, it's even worse. It actually shows, I think, when we get so divided politically, I think it shows in us a lack of faith and trust in Christ as our leader.
Right.
Like it's either all the way to this one party or all the way to the other party, and we make that a faith, an eternal issue, and it's not an eternal issue. In fact, I don't have time to drill down on this. I have this blog rolling around in my head, or lesson or something. But I think one of the biggest threats to American Christianity today is nationalism. It's or maybe you call it patriotism or partisanship, where you're all for one party or all for the other. I think one of the biggest threats to American Christianity is how much hope we put in our country. And we just did a whole series called Exiles at Element, where we kind of talked about America is not our forever home.
Right.
The eternal kingdom of God is. Now, I'm all for America. I love our country. I think it's the best country on the planet. The freedom that we have is incredible. But now I'm kind of getting off from her question on how do you respond, but just speaking to all of us in general, if you are a Republican and a Christian, you have more in common with a Christian Democrat than you do with a non-Christian Republican.
That's good.
So we have more in common with our brothers and sisters who believe something different politically than we do with non-Christian people who are in our same political party. So that as Christians, we have to remember that. I saw someone online post this. They said, many Christians will vote for Donald Trump. Many will vote for Joe Biden. Many will vote for neither. But this doesn't mean that they're not a Christian because they don't vote like you. Remember, they are still your brother and sister in Christ. That our unity in the blood of Christ is so much more powerful than our unity in political ideology.
Right.
But again, going back to even this question, we start to treat political ideology as if that's what divide. That's the eternal thing.
Yeah, it's do or die.
Yeah. That I can't associate with you because you vote differently than me. That's not even Christian. So Jesus is not Republican. He's not a Democrat either. There are things in both parties that they traditionally support that Jesus would never support.
Yeah.
And there are things in both parties that they traditionally support that Jesus would definitely support. And I'll emphasize both parties.
Yeah.
So pray, educate yourself, be kind and considerate when people disagree with you, but be involved, vote with your conscience and under the direction of the Holy Spirit. And going back to the question, show love to both sides. And I think here's the best thing you can do. If you're stuck in the middle with families or friends like this, be the calming voice. Don't get sucked into the extremes of this political season. Express your faith, your trust, your hope in Jesus, not in the political party or candidate that you support. I think Christians need to lead the way in showing everyone where our hope is. That our hope is not in the president.
Right.
It's in Jesus. And so to the person that asked this question, I almost said their name. To the person that asked this question, that's what I would say. Love both sides, be kind and considerate, but be the example in all of it, that your hope is not in a political party. And hopefully by doing that, you're going to stand out so much, they're going to ask you, hey, where do you stand in all this? And then you can share, and you'll have earned hopefully their respect to listen to your side. So thanks for the question. I hope that helped to answer it. There is no easy answer. Some people aren't going to hear you either way, but it's an important one as we head into a very difficult political season.
I want to throw in one thing.
Oh, okay. We'll see if it's edited out.
I'm using my filter.
Okay, use the filter.
That forgiveness should probably also play into this, that you need to stay on top of forgiving people who maybe offend you or hurt you because of their political stance, that you just don't want to open the door at all for the enemy to come in. And when we have unforgiveness sitting in our heart towards someone, the enemy can use that. So just staying on top of that. And we're told to forgive 70 times 7. And so you may have to do this in that situation, because family can hurt you deeper than anybody else.
Yep.
And so I think it's just good to stay on top of that.
And I'll add one more thing too, using my filter. There might be a time where when you feel like you have the permission or the freedom to do it, that you confront somebody in your family. Yeah. With some people, not with everybody, but with some people, you've earned that respect, especially if they're a Christian, and you're in relationship with them. It might be okay for you to be like, do it respectfully, do it in private. Don't do it in front of the whole family, but just tell them like, what you're doing is not Christ-like. Yeah. That I want us to be an example and not divide. So you might have to confront if the opportunity affords itself, but be careful in that. Yeah. Be respectful. That obviously can cause more conflict. But anyway, thanks for the question. It's a good one. And I'm sorry that you're going through it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Okay. Going back to our spending fast conversation. Way back in the old days of January 2020.
14 years ago.
Doesn't it feel like it?
Yes.
Doesn't feel like, whatever it is, 8 months ago. It feels like 8 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
It's so weird how long it seems like it was ago, but this has been such a crazy year. But back in January, we started the year, we did personally, with a 3-month spending fast. And we're going to get into that here in a second. Although I'm proposing that we stop calling it a fast and start calling it a slow, because it goes by super slow. Don't you think?
Yes, but it doesn't work. It's dumb. Hey, what are you guys doing? I'm doing a slow spend. Like, what the heck?
But wait, man, whenever you give up food for a day, a week, it goes by so slowly.
Maybe it goes by slowly so you'll learn something.
Oh, you got to get all spiritual on me. I wonder, why is it called a fast? I don't even know. I should look that up.
You've never looked up the word fast, even though you do it regularly and preach on it?
Nope.
Oh,
I mean, I just know what it is.
maybe you should do some research.
I should.
And then we can share that later.
Interesting. I'll have to look it up.
Yep. Put it in Nosby.
Yeah. No, my brain go. Okay, here we go. If you want to join me, by the way, in calling it a slow, you're welcome to.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to change the narrative. Back in January, we're really digressing. We did a 3-month spending fast, and we decided to do another 2-month fast in October and November coming up this year, 2020. So we thought, why not challenge some other people to join us so we're not doing it all by ourselves?
Yes.
And then do a whole podcast episode on it, which we're doing right now. The spending fast we did was super helpful and impactful for us, and we thought it might help some other people as well. I think we learned a lot through it, don't you think?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And so we want to talk about what a spending fast is, why we chose to do it, how you do it, and then what we learn from it. And then we're going to open it up at the very end to a spending fast challenge group that you can be a part of to join us on this spending fast journey. So, number one, let's start with what a spending fast is. We joked about the word fast, but a fast is typically the giving up of food for a specific amount of time. In Christianity, it's a spiritual discipline where you give up food to seek more of God or pray through a specific thing in life. Physically, there are some benefits to fasting. We're not going to go into all that.
Yeah.
But a spending fast is different than a spiritual fast, a food fast. Sabrina, what is a spending fast?
A spending fast is choosing to not spend money for a specific amount of time for a specific goal or reason.
So say that again, because I think it's super important. Everything you said there is super important for us to hear.
Yeah.
So say again, what is a spending fast?
Okay, a spending slow is choosing to not spend money for a specific amount of time for a specific goal or reason.
Okay, that's huge. That it has to be not spending money
Right.
for a specific time and a specific reason.
If you just say, I'm not going to spend money.
Yep.
It's just too easy.
And if there's no time limit.
Yeah, you have to be diligent in those things.
Yep. So if you don't know a why, your reason before going into it, you're going to very, very easily give up. And we're going to get to the why here in a second. So a fast doesn't have to be 3 months. It might be shorter. Or it could even be longer. It doesn't have to be an extreme fast either. You might just choose to fast from eating out, buying clothes, entertainment, whatever it is. So for us, well, we're going to get to that here in a second. So we chose to do a spending fast from all non-essential spending. We'll get to that again here in a bit as well. We talk about why we did it. Just know a spending fast is not spending money that you would normally spend for a specific time and a specific reason or goal. That's what a spending fast is.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it is. Second thing, why do a spending fast? I think this is the most important question to answer. And the why is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
So our why for doing it earlier this year is actually different than our why for doing it now. Mm-hmm. The why for somebody who's listening, if they join the Spending Fast Challenge, with I think everybody should. It's so beneficial.
Oh, man.
But the why for everybody else is going to be different. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But you need to know your why. So the initial why for us is we were inspired by a Joe Sangl podcast. We listen to his Monday Money Tip podcast every single week, which, by the way, if you're not listening to the Monday Money Tip podcast every single Monday, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait for it to come out every single week. I'm always talking to you about it. I think you listen to everyone too. Mm-hmm. You didn't sound very confident. Are you behind?
I'm a little behind.
Okay. You're going to lie on the podcast?
I wasn't gonna lie. I am a listener. I just am a little behind.
You gave me your confused... I could totally
Why did you have to call me out? Nobody can see me.
I thought you listened to it every week.
No, I don't listen every week.
You were totally going to lie. You had your live face on. That's funny. Okay, we're not even going to edit that out.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'll get caught up.
The Monday Money Tip podcast, we heard on there a story about someone who did a spending fast.
For a whole year.
For a whole year, yeah.
I wasn't ready to commit to that.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the initial reason why. We were just challenged by that story.
We had never
never even heard of somebody doing it.
No.
I mean, I've heard of people budgeting and saving money, but a spending fast intentionally.
It was super inspiring.
It was. Yeah, I should find what episode that is, and
maybe we could share it.
Yeah, I could put it in the show notes or something.
That's a good idea.
But it was really, really good. So that was the initial why. We were just inspired by somebody else's story. Maybe our story will inspire somebody to do it today. What are some other reasons that you can think of that we chose to do? What were the whys? We had more than one, but what was some of the big whys we did a spending fast?
We were saving for a vacation.
Yep.
And so that was one of the reasons. We know we just blow money on
all the time.
Starbucks, food.
Yep.
And we knew it just needed to be reined in a little bit.
Yeah, we had ended 2019 a little loose in our spending.
Maybe didn't stick to our budget as normally as we do.
Well, the thing is, we live on a budget.
Yeah.
Like we have quite a bit of discretionary income because we live on less than we make, which is intentional. We did a whole podcast on finances earlier. I think it's episode 3. We did a podcast on finances. We'll put that in the show notes as well, and talked about some of the financial disciplines we do. So we do have, some discretionary income.
Yeah.
We were spending it all.
Yeah. And we shouldn't be doing that all the time.
Yes. It's okay to spend discretionary money on occasion, but we knew we needed to rein it in a bit.
Yeah.
So the biggest one for us was we were really, really working hard towards a big, like bucket list savings goal.
Yeah.
We wanted to reach 6 months expenses in savings. And so the spending fast was really for us a way to accelerate our savings for 3 months in order to reach that goal. And we did.
Mm-hmm. And there was no way for us to know COVID was coming.
No.
So, I mean, it couldn't have been a better discipline at a better time. Yeah. I mean, God can see the whole picture. And so when you're obedient, you just don't know the benefits you'll reap from that.
And we already had substantial savings, but we wanted to reach that goal.
Yeah. And
so we just said, we're going to cut all discretionary spending, which we'll talk to how to do that in the next point, and just put everything towards that savings goal. So this time, for the October-November 2-month spending fast we're doing, our why is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So what's the why for this 2-month spending fast?
We are in the last stages of saving for Disney World.
Yes, we are going to Disney with our family. It'll probably be the last our family vacation with just our family. And we have kids approaching. One of our kids is 19.
Right.
Another one of our girls is a senior. She'll be done with high school here and moving on to whatever the next stage of life is for her.
Yeah, probably our last.
It might be the last big family vacation we do, where it's just us and our kids.
Yeah.
If in the future our kids get married and if they go on to have children of their own, like our family's going to start to expand in the next several years, or our kids are just going to have their own lives here.
Right.
In a few years.
They
won't want to go on vacation.
They already think we're not cool anyway, but.
So, being in the last stages of saving for this Disney World vacation.
Which we've already been saving for the last couple years.
But we're right down to the last stages.
Yeah.
And we just want to get all of it done. We're going to pay cash to go. And we're just going to get it knocked out and get on the way. So, what's another reason why this time we're doing it?
It's just a good discipline. I think it's a good growing thing for us. It helps us to rein back in that spending, and that means no more Jimmy John's for date night. We were sitting at Jimmy John's, and I'm like, oh, we have to give up date night and Jimmy John's.
We have to give up date night.
No, but give up date night going to Jimmy John's. Yeah. Our date night will just now be at home,
right.
and
I'll make dinner.
Yeah, I'll plan a meal. That's right.
Make dinner, lock the door.
That's right.
What happens behind the door stays behind the door.
No kids allowed.
So my question to all of the listeners is, what's your why? If you're going to join us on the spending fast, maybe your why is saving for Christmas. We actually budget for Christmas all year long.
Right.
So we figure in January, we sit down, we ask ourselves, how much do we want to spend on Christmas at the end of the year? And then we take the number of paychecks I get, divide it by that. Every paycheck, we're saving the amount of money it takes to pay for Christmas. But maybe you didn't do that, so you want to save money for Christmas. Okay, that's awesome. Maybe you want to pay off debt. That'd be a great thing to save money for, to pay off debt. Maybe you want to save some money. Maybe you want to reach your first savings goal. 1 month's expenses is what Joe Sengel recommends. Maybe you want to go on vacation. That's your why. Maybe there's a big purchase that you need to make. A car you need to buy or something that you're going to pay cash for, because we believe you should always pay cash for everything.
Yes.
That's, again, another podcast for another day. So I don't know what your why is. For us, we have ours. It's going to inspire us to stick with it, but know your why. So stop spending money for a specific amount of time. This time for us, it's 2 months.
Yeah.
For a specific reason. For us, it's our vacation, and just to be disciplined. Again, it's just a great reminder of, just like you said, discipline, that we don't need to buy crap.
Yeah. I was thinking this will be a good date night conversation. Yeah. So after you listen to this podcast, go on a date.
Very
if
good
you're
idea.
married.
Yep.
Talk about all the things, figure out why, how, all the things, write it all down, commit to it together, and then you're ready to go October 1st, and you're on the same page with your spouse.
And
if you're single, grab a friend and have a friend walk you through it, what it looks like. Have a conversation and bounce it off of them. Hopefully you have a friend in your life you can do that with, but have a friend date.
If not, join our Facebook group
and
for the challenge, and we'll help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Third thing about a spending fast is, how do you do it? Kind of for people that have never done it before, especially if you're not super disciplined already in budgeting and saving and finances.
It can seem overwhelming.
It can seem daunting.
Yeah.
Like, not spend money for 2 months. So how do you do a spending fast? Again, we already live on a budget. So we budget to zero, meaning we tell every dollar where to go. Now, a big chunk of that is just money we're putting into savings every single paycheck, and that was the discretionary money. We already have our emergency fund fully funded. So now that extra money, it's too easy. It's easy to spend. But anyway, we budget to zero. Go back and listen to episode 2. It looks like it is. We talked about some financial stuff in that one. We will put a link in the show notes. So here's how we did it. We just looked at our budget and chose categories we weren't going to spend on. So when we say stop spending money, keep paying your mortgage, keep paying your car insurance.
Smart, people.
Keep paying your health insurance. Like, we're not talking about all spending, but all non-essential spending.
Right.
Like, keep paying. If you have debt, you have to pay your debt payments.
Yes.
We didn't have any debt. So all of our extra money could go towards this. So we just looked at things we wanted to stop spending on. And it was literally all non-essential. Anything that wasn't a recurring payment, we stopped.
Yeah.
So what were some things we stopped spending on?
So clothing.
Yep. We took out all of our clothing budget we didn't buy a piece of clothing for 3 months. And some of you are starting to panic right now.
Yeah. You don't need anything. I promise.
Yep. You can get by with what you have.
Date nights.
Yep. We still kept doing date night, but we didn't spend any money.
Yeah. So we would stay home instead, and I would cook a meal, and like we said earlier, lock the door.
And we still had grocery money, so we bought bought groceries.
We didn't stop eating.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Jeff takes our kids out for dad time.
Yep. We stopped doing that.
So we gave that up. But
we told the kids why we were giving it up.
Yes. And for this, it's to treat them
with
in
vacation.
A big way.
Yep.
So for them to even learn to sacrifice some things to save money.
Yep.
Entertainment.
Yep. So we did all of any movies.
So no movies.
Yep. Nothing outside of the home.
Like we kept Netflix.
We kept Netflix
and
because
Dish
it's
Network.
Yeah, because if you cancel Dish Network, they charge you $200 for canceling whatever.
So we just watched movies.
We watched whatever we had on TV, already provided for in what we were paying.
Yeah, that was our entertainment.
Yep.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
I know. If anybody wants to donate Starbucks
please.
Gift cards,
we'll take them.
we'll just leave them on our front porch.
just drop it. We
are so sad because literally out of everything we're naming, Starbucks probably is our biggest treat. We go every Friday.
Oh yeah. Anytime we're not at work, anytime I have a day off, we're at Starbucks.
Get Starbucks.
Sometimes more than once a day.
This has happened, yes. So it's good for us to say no.
It's a first world problem for sure.
Eating out.
Yes, no eating out for 3 months.
Well, we're doing
with the last time
yeah,
we did
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we did no eating out at all. But this time we're going to do no eating out money, but we do order pizza every Friday night for our family night, and we are going to keep that in.
Yes.
But we'll still be saving money because that's the only food we'll get out to eat.
Yep. So we literally cut just about everything we could cut this last time we did it. And we're going to do the same thing this time.
Yeah.
And everything went into savings. Everything. Yeah. Any extra money we received, so a surprise gift, a tax refund, a bonus, found money in the dryer because you put cash in. I find cash in the dryer all the time. I should have counted through life how much money.
I'm tipping you for doing my laundry.
Okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Literally, any extra money we came across or found, whatever it was, we put it all into savings. All of it. Not just the money we made from our jobs, but anything we put into savings. So when we did that 3-month fast, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was great, but it was hard.
I feel like the first month was really hard because you're changing your habits. But then when month 3 came and it ended, we weren't really ready. I mean, we went to Starbucks and I bought a clothesline.
The clothesline was the big thing. You were so ready to buy that clothesline.
I was so excited to buy a clothesline. But there were things we wanted that we no longer wanted.
Yep.
It's so amazing how your whole perspective changes.
Yeah. And we were going to talk about that coming up here.
I got ahead. I'm sorry.
So I will say this. I think you need at least 30 days to really make a difference.
Oh, for sure.
In fact, if you join us on the spending challenge, you have to commit to 30 days. We think you should do it for the 2 months.
Yeah.
But like if you say I'm going to do a spending fast for a week, it doesn't do anything.
No, it's not a dent in you.
Yeah.
You need it to hurt.
Yeah. And maybe for some people, you can't do this extreme of a spending fast because of your financial situation, but maybe you could pick one thing.
Yeah. You're
going to stop spending for 30 days. A significant thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think it needs to be at least 30 days or you just don't learn enough. So that's how we did it. We just chose what categories we weren't spending, and literally every single dollar we could save, we were saving. So the last thing, talked about what it is, talked about why we did it. You got to know your why. Talk about how you do it, that you take care of all your essentials.
Yeah.
You have to have a house, got to have utilities, got to have drive your car, that kind of thing. But non-essential stuff, stop spending. Last thing is, what did we personally learn walking through the fast? I'll tell you this, we learned, and we knew it going in, but you realize it when you stop, just how freely we spend money on crap.
Yeah.
Just stuff we don't need. We've actually been super challenged this year anyway to declutter our life and simplify our belongings. A spending fast really shows you that how much stuff you buy that you don't need.
Yeah.
Because it was due. It's just so easy to go buy crap. So that was one thing.
When did we get rid of a bunch of stuff? During the spending fast or after the spending fast?
It might have been during. It was after we read John Mark Comer's book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I think we've mentioned that book on every single podcast we've done.
It's life-changing.
But
we've gone through everything.
So
our books, I got rid of all of our DVDs, clothes. We just got
We
rid
really
of so
downsized.
much.
We simplified life. But the spending fast, again, just shows how quickly...
It changes your priorities.
Yep. So anyway, that was one thing, just how freely we spend money on stuff we don't need. It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
Another thing that we learned is just that delayed gratification works.
Yeah.
This is what you mentioned just a second ago, that the things we thought we wanted in January, by April when the fast was over, we almost forgot we had wanted them back in January.
But we did. We had a mental list going, and I remember asking you, what was
what
all
were we
on
about?
that list? And we could remember a couple of things, but we couldn't remember a lot of things.
Delayed gratification works. That if you just wait, a lot of times you realize I don't actually need it or want it.
Yeah.
I mean, how much stuff do we have lying in our houses already that sometimes has never come out of the box?
Right.
So, and we're guilty of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even recently, I think we found ourselves, we should buy that. Oh, we should buy that. oh, we should buy that. And it's not anything we need.
Right.
They're luxury items that we want, and we just don't need it. And so I think that's one of the best parts about spending fast is reminding us that what we have is enough. What else did we learn through the spending fast?
That Amazon Prime is a trap. Raise your hand if you're
Yes.
guilty.
Amen. Preach.
Oh, man. We got an Amazon package today.
Amazon Prime is great. Like the Prime Video is awesome. But they know what they're doing when they sell you on that 2-day shipping. You pay whatever it is a year for Amazon Prime thinking that, oh, but we save on the shipping. You don't save anything because you buy too much crap.
Yeah.
We buy we buy too much stuff on Amazon. Not just us. There's an Amazon package every stinking day, it seems like, at our house. The fourth thing, or not the fourth thing, another thing we learned, I guess it is actually the fourth thing under number 4 here. What did we learn? You just learn to adapt.
Yeah.
You learn that certain things you don't need.
And I also borrowed.
Yes.
If I wanted something and I didn't have it, then I reached out to my community and said, hey, can I borrow this? So I ended up borrowing quite a few different things, a cookbook, a baking sheet, like all sorts of random things that you don't need to have on hand because you don't use them, but maybe someone in your community has it. And if they don't, then I just would have figured it out.
Which is another reason to have community.
Yeah, for sure.
Even when we were cleaning out our kitchen.
Yeah.
Because we literally downsized. When we say we downsized, we simplified a lot in our house, including tons of stuff from our kitchen, utensils and whatever you call like little gadgets or whatever that you have in your kitchen that you haven't touched in years.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to get rid of them because, well, what if I need it? What did I say? I said, somebody in your group probably has one. Somebody in your community has one of these.
Yep.
And would let you borrow it.
And they did.
And they did. Lots. Oh, you're right. That's one thing we didn't even put that on our paper here, which we just learned that you can borrow things. That's what community is.
Yeah.
That we have some things other people don't have that they can borrow, and
vice versa.
People have things that we don't have that we can borrow. That's community. That's the church right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's Acts 4:32.
Amen. So the last thing I'll say is we just realized how important it is to have savings. Our goal was to reach our 6-month expenses in savings, 6 months of expenses in savings. And we hit it literally. I think it was like the week before COVID hit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was a great reminder.
Yeah.
Of when COVID hit and we had 6 months of expenses, the financial pressure on us of the worry of the future was way less than what many people experience without having savings. So here's our challenge. Here we go. 2-month spending fast, starting on October 1st and going through all of November. So this is currently dropping on September 28th. We're not recording it on the 28th, but this will be released on September 28th. So you have a couple of days to get in on this challenge, okay?
So you got to have your date fast if you're married.
Yes. Yep. So if you join the challenge, you will be added to a private Facebook group with Sabrina and myself. You'll receive 3 updates in the group each week from us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for both October and November. The updates might be just a word of encouragement, some tips, some suggestions, and tools. And then every week we will do one Facebook Live event inside the private group where we will make ourselves available to talk, to answer questions, to share our successes and struggles, and to hear yours as well. Plus, you'll be in an online community encouraging you along the way to succeed in the fast. So, Sabrina, how can someone join the challenge? If you're listening, we want you in the challenge.
Yes.
We want you to do it. So how can you join the challenge?
So you need to email your Facebook name to hello@jeffmanis.com. Tell us if you're married or not, and if you and your spouse are joining, and make sure we know both of those names.
Yep. So if you want some financial research, again, email your Facebook name to hello@jeffmanis.com, and we'll get you into the private Facebook group. Sabrina will be spearheading all of that. And man, I hope a lot of you join in. I think it's going to be super helpful and inspiring for all of us to walk together through these 2 months. And
I think it's just nice to know when you're doing a goal that you're not the only one suffering sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you can vent if you need to,
Yeah.
or if you need to borrow something,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
use this community.
Yep.
Like, I just think it'll be a really cool
Yeah.
connection.
Absolutely. So if you want some financial resources immediately, I can't recommend Joe Sangl enough. Every one of Joe's books I have read. They are phenomenal. I think you should go get them right now on Amazon or on his website. iwbnin.com. iwbnin.com. We'll put that in the show notes. On Instagram and Facebook, follow Joseph Sangl. You can also follow I Was Broke, Now I'm Not on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to the Monday Money Tip podcast that Sabrina will now go get caught up on because she lied to all of our listeners.
Do you forgive me for?
I do. I forgive you.
I didn't quite lie.
Your face was so funny.
It was on the line, but
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of Joe, on the next episode, which drops on October 12th, we'll be sharing our interview we had with Joe, and you will be
Fired
up.
It's gonna be awesome.
I hope you'll join us for that and for the spending fast. And even if you don't join us on the spending fast, what are we going to do? We're going to do it. What?
Sorry.
Oh my
I
goodness.
totally went blank.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared.
You looked at me like, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, we're going to still do the fast.
Yeah, if nobody joins us, we're still doing it.
You cracked me up. We're falling apart here. It's date night, and Sabrina's laughing so hard she can't speak. Okay. If this podcast has impacted you, we would love to know. You can comment on social media. You can email us hello@jeffmanis.com. The best way, though, to show your support is to subscribe to the podcast, like it, rate it, review it, and share it. Sabrina's still laughing.
I'm sorry.
You were so clueless. So why don't we end? We need to end. Why don't we end with our marriage mantra? Are you ready? Do you know what the marriage mantra is?
I do. We say it every single morning.
You're not giving me the confused face, so that's good. We are united in Christ, unstoppable with Christ, unbreakable because of Christ. So now it's time for you to go get naked
And partay.
We'll see you on the other side. Thank you for listening to the Naked Party Time podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review on all of your podcast platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure and subscribe as well. For more content, go to jeffmanis.com.
I'm sorry.
Like, even if no one else does it, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? You're like...
The notes, so I didn't know what I was supposed to say.
It says, if not, we're still doing it, right?
Oh, I didn't see that.
You gotta learn to roll with the punches.
I know. Sorry. Hey, I did pretty good on some of those rollings.
Okay.